Julie Yates. I wanted to talk about the Methodist Church today, but first off I want to say that it's really important as historians that we're objective when studying things. It's really hard not to be when we're studying things like religion, but according to the course guidelines, historians must be honest and objective in their research. So I want to talk a little bit about how they started, just a little bit. It began in England in 1738 after John and Charles Wesley accompanied John Oglethorpe to Georgia. They were heavily influenced by the Moravians, and they used that as an inspiration to start the Methodist Church. They are called Methodist because of their methodical devotion to study and sacred duty. So growing up, I kind of thought of Methodist almost as a Baptist church. I grew up as a Baptist, and as I was kind of taught that they were some of the closest in the beliefs as us. Like, they believe that, and this is not all Methodists, of course, just like all Baptists don't believe the same thing. So I'm just going to talk in generalities, and I went to the United Methodist Church website and read a lot of what they believe. But a lot of the beliefs are the same as us, or as me, as a Baptist. They believe that Jesus is the Son of God, that He came to earth to die on the cross to save our sins. They believe that salvation is a free gift, that it cannot be earned. They believe that Jesus is 100% human and 100% divine. But they also differ from Baptists in 4 different ways. One of the main differences in is baptism. In fact, I almost became a Methodist in college, but I just couldn't, I could not see infants being baptized. But they believe that infants can be baptized as a way to dedicate them, just like we do dedication in some of our churches. It's a way to promise that the infant and the child will be taught about God. But they also do baptize adults and teenagers too. Most of them don't practice full immersion. They sprinkle the water or will pour the water on the person or the infant. So, and we just, as Baptists, practice total immersion after a person becomes a believer. Another thing is the Methodist Church and the way that they appoint ministers. Ministers are appointed by bishops of the church. There's a whole hierarchy. And so there are bishops that appoint pastors to different churches, and they will also take pastors out of one church and move them to another church. Where as Baptists, our churches actually call the minister themselves. And I was a pastor's child, and a PK, as you will, and it was our decision, or perhaps maybe the church's decision, when we left. There wasn't anybody above us deciding where pastors would go to. So a third difference is the way they practice communion. Most Methodists, according to the website, practice communion where everybody, no matter what their beliefs are welcome to come to the table for communion, whereas Baptist churches or Baptists typically say you must be a believer. In fact, maybe a baptized believer to take communion in our church. Then finally, most Methodists believe that you can fall from grace and lose your salvation, when typically Baptists believe that once a person is saved, they're always saved. They have God's seal on them. So I think it's important for us to understand that even though there are definite differences, that the fundamentals are the same. I will be very interested to see your reaction to this video, and I'm really excited to see what some of y'all decided to discuss. Thank y'all. Bye.